Okay, Dr. Dan Walden, maybe perhaps you can tell our audience something about Victor Valley College, what it is, and where is it, and some color on the institution itself, and what's your role there?
Sure, I love talking about Victor Valley College, almost as much as I like talking about myself. But good morning, everyone. It is really good to be here. I appreciate the invitation. Victor Valley College is a community college, a public community college, one of 116 community colleges in the state of California. And we are located in what is referred to as the high desert of Southern California. So if you know anything about California, you know Southern California, Los Angeles, San Diego, all of that. If they want to go to Vegas, they got to come by us to get there. So we provide all the restrooms for the stop that's about halfway between Vegas and LA. And so we're made up of of several communities, but the three largest, or four largest towns are Victorville, Apple Valley, Hesperia, and Adelanto, and then there's some other little smattering communities. But our service area that the college serves is about 425,000 people that live there, up there, what they call on the hill, because in LA you're down sea level to 500. Up in our area you come over a 4,200 elevation pass, and then we settle in about 3,000 feet elevation. So they call us the people on the hill. So that's geographically where we're located.
All right. Interesting place, though.
Very.
Yes. Dr. Walden, could you talk about top trends in education with regard to what's going on the education vertical? What are the trends that you are seeing?
Well, of course, one that's been emerging and then kind of got a booster shot through the pandemic is digital learning. And so now we're a college of about 18,000 students annual head count. We have about 1,000 employees. And so you could imagine the technology that's needed for that kind of operation. I've been doing higher education for many years, several decades now, and currently at Victor Valley College, no class operates without technology and digital assistance. Even our face-to-face classes, every professor has an online learning management system that they use. And so the students interacting, get their assignments, turn in their homework, get supplemental instruction, even in a face-to-face class. About 35 to 40% of our classes are now either online or in some hybrid format. So digital learning is one of the real emerging trends. Another one is analytics. Of course, we all love to watch the football, and see the guy throw the pass. There's like a 15% chance they catch it, and they do, and they win the Super Bowl, I guess. So, but in real life, for the way the college operates, we're constantly needing to know, and higher ed is really into this analytics thing in the sense of what is our payoff, and what's going to work, that's where we put our money, that's going to really make a difference. And it's almost like running a multiple regression, and there's never 100% of anything that's the cause of something, but you want to find the greatest bang for your buck. And so analytics is really important to tell us about our students, where they're going, what the industry needs are, and so on. Another one that is a major concern of higher ed today in general, and specifically community colleges across the nation, is retention. And that is, how do we keep our students? How do we keep from losing them? As you all know, we have one of the lowest unemployment rates in the United States right now that we've ever had, or at least in my lifetime. And so it's so easy for students, particularly community college students, to get distracted from their educational journey by jobs that just pop up. And of course, we serve a lot of areas. We aren't trying to graduate every student. We don't try to transfer every student to the 4 years. We are trying to serve what is that student's goal. Sometimes it's just upskilling in their industry. Other times it's just get me the certificate so I can get this entry-level job. But we also do, the transfer, going to the 4-year universities. The first 2 years of college, we provide at 100% or better of what they can get at any 4-year institution. And I'd say the last thing that would come to mind in regard to a trend would be just the adaptive learning. Being able to move from the different modalities. One of the things that's kind of emerging for our industry right now is flex classrooms, where you have a classroom with students in it face-to-face, like we are here, but there may be another section of the class, could have one student, could have 20 students in it. That's, that's 30 miles or 100 miles away, and they're in a digital learning environment, but they're connected to this class and they interact with this class off-site just like they're in the classroom. The students can talk to one another, can answer questions, can hear each other, can see each other, and we are really, that's just one of the cutting edge kind of things. I've often challenged our community college leaders, and wherever I speak, I tell them, they say by the year 35 that 60% of post-secondary education is going to happen outside of higher ed. Now, we can either let that train pass us by, or we can get on the train and go on the ride with them. And so I think for that reason, we need to become smart colleges. We need to be on the cutting edge of technology, digitization, and making sure that we have that kind of environment to stay adaptable to our world.
Excellent, Dr. Walden. How big is ransomware an issue in education?
Well, for me, it's huge. I'm pretty connected. The community college world out here is kind of small in one sense of the word. We're the largest educational system in America. We have about 2 million students in all of our 116 colleges. And just this last year, 4 of my colleagues have experienced ransomware attack, where they literally go into the college and shut it down. I mean, you can't do anything. Sometimes even your email system gets compromised. And so I don't know, I'm not going to call any names, I wouldn't do that, but I can tell you College A, for example, and these are real life things that I know about, and I'm friends with these presidents, was shut down for 3 weeks. They couldn't hold classes. They could not communicate with one another, and they were held hostage by ransomware. And a few years ago, ransomware, I remember the first one I was kind of exposed to. I think they got in and they froze up all the software and all the connections, and I think the ransom for that college, which was a college right next to the one where I was at that time, was, I want to say $40,000. And the district held off paying that for a while, but after about a week and a half, they coughed it up, and everybody just thought that's terrible to take the taxpayer dollars and have to pay someone that. And I remember, I think it was in Bitcoin, when Bitcoin was just starting. Now, it was, I don't know, you probably know the numbers better than I do, but I can tell you that $2.5 million, $3 million, $4 million, $5 million, they'll say, we're locking you down until you pay us. This has happened to 4 of my friends this year in the state of California. 2 of them have had two attacks in the same year. Well, this keeps me up at night. I'm responsible for 18,000 students and 1,000 employees, and I report to a local board of elected officials of 5 people I'm the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer, which I interpret to mean the Chief Experience Officer. And if my students can't go to class and they can't learn, they aren't having an experience. If my teachers cannot communicate to their students, or they have to halfway communicate with them, then they don't have a good experience in their job. They're not going to pass that along to the students, and the students are losing. So that experience of just the fear that someone, it's just like if they tell you, you know, there's a stalker in your neighborhood and they're breaking into houses and they're killing the wife and the children, and you know, and it's in your neighborhood. I mean, the other day they had a mountain lion about 2 doors down from me, and the camera caught. That's kind of scary to me. I sometimes go out and get in the jacuzzi in the middle of the night, and I'm thinking, nothing, maybe not. Maybe I'll just stay in the house and think about the bathtub. When there's a mountain lion stalking, are burglars around, are people that want to hurt you, and they're walking through your neighborhood, and that's what's happening with ransomware.
Exactly.
They're coming after
digitally
all of us, but my interest, of course, my main interest is higher ed, and how do I protect my college? So this is a huge issue for me.
Got it. Dr. Walden, how does the SASE architecture protect you from ransomware?
Well, I like the zero threat approach. You know, we had good protection, but when I hear my friends with some of the same kind of protection getting violated and being held ransom, it made me think we didn't have enough. I talked to 2 of my board members, and I had them go to a conference with me, and we went and saw a session that was put on by some of these colleges that had experienced this. And of course, they caught me right after, and they said, "And what are you doing about this?" I said, "Well, I got you to come here so that when I bring you a big bill later, you'll vote for it." So we put out an RFP because I wanted to see who could come in and protect us the best, and was there a single place we could go that would monitor what we're doing and what's going on in our system. You know, I like to go to sleep at night, but I like to think that there's somebody up in the middle of the night watching over our college digitally and our technology. And of course, you know, one of the things they love the most, these ransom people, they love to come in when you're shut down. And I don't just mean at night, but I mean they love the holidays. Like we have about 2 weeks at the end of every year, we're just not there. That's when they want to come in and do all of their damage and go laterally across your system. And sometimes they plant things that they lay dormant for months at a time. You guys know that. You've heard these stories. So, and then, it's going to wake up, you know. It's like Y2K all over again, but it's real, at least on a local level.
Dr. Walden, what about the zero trust approach, you know, in terms of protecting from ransomware, you know, at least reducing the threat for ransomware?
Well, zero trust in the sense that, you know, if you can have this company doing this and this company doing that, and, you know, somewhere something's going to fall through the cracks. You can say, well, this part of our system's protected this way, and this part is protected another way. And then the other thing you get is people on the campus, I shouldn't say this in public, but they want little favors from IT. You know, can you please make me an administrator on my laptop?
True. And,
you know, they don't really qualify to be an administrator, but, you know, it's a special favor. We've been friends so all these kind of, every one of those is an exposure.
Yes.
Like, I don't click on links. Do you click on links? If you do, you're crazy. Unless you know for sure where they come from. And just because it says Amazon doesn't mean it isn't. And doesn't mean it is either. My vice president the other day clicked on Fix Your Amazon account, and they emptied out his checking and savings overnight. Over $11,000 left my vice president broke, poor guy. But that was serious. And then the guy had enough craziness in him to call him back while he was talking to the sheriff. And they did chase him down, and the guy was in Vegas, which was, like we're on the way to Vegas. And he did eventually get his money back, but he was short of cash for a few months.
Dr. Walden, one of the things you do find in your new environment is that there is attending schools from anywhere. There is attending work from anywhere. There is also kids using non-sanctioned SASE applications, SASE applications which are not sanctioned by the school, and through accessing those applications, they could be bringing worms and viruses and all of that inside. How do you protect? How have you envisioned protecting against those attack surfaces?
Hiring Versa. And I wish it was just the kids.
Yeah.
But the students, the professors, they'll lock onto some non-sanctioned SaaS, something that they think they can use in their class, to make it happier for everyone in a better situation. But that creates a vulnerability. We don't know about that. How do we protect from that? And same thing with students. And so all these kind of things that go on out there, that's why I need someone that virtually, digitally, and personally looking after us 24/7. That's what I went after. I was like, look, I am trying to, we just got an award. I'm going to brag on this a little bit. The college just got an award. Out of the 116 colleges, this year we won for the state of California the John W. Rice Award for Student Success. First place out of the 116 colleges. And we're on a mission to be the best in the country. And so for us, that it means getting the Aspen Prize, and I won't tell you all about that, but that's where the top college, the top community college in the nation gets this prize. Every couple of years they give it out. So I wanted to move on, but I can't move on with the things that are really important to me if I'm having to sit over here and worry, and then worse than that, actually be taken ransom. So that's just, it was the purpose for me was, can you take care of this for me?
Totally right, yes.
So that I can go do what I want to do?
Yes, exactly.
Be rich and famous?
And one of the things, Dr. Walden, you would agree, is that with the unified SASE solution, everything which goes in and out of the school's desktop, or whether students or administrator, everything is inspected by the universal SASE node, making sure all the worms and viruses are stopped at our cloud location and not enter into your desktop or workstation or whatever you may have, which prevents viruses and worms to come into your school, and thereby providing better security. Would you agree that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's what this is all about.
All right. Now the other thing is, Dr. Walden, when you get all these people who are working remotely, or for that matter, your different locations within Victor Valley College, you have deployed software-defined WAN to provide you a better experience, you would say, so that your applications load faster and so on and so forth?
So all those things happen, and that's why. And going back to when I say I'm the chief experience officer, that was one of the things that was attractive to me about this, because not only do my students have a better experience, but so do my employees. And the saying about if mom ain't happy, nobody's happy. Well, if your employees are not happy, your customer is not going to be happy either, which is our customer being the students, because they're going to be grouchy to the student, they're going to be short, cryptic with the student, however much they are caring, but if they're having a bad employee experience, and that starts with them sitting down at the desk in the morning. You want to make me mad? Let me come in the morning and try to turn on my computer, and it doesn't come on. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for my computer to take 30 minutes to load.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, and then when I need to access some part of the district software, or you know, approve a requisition or a new hire or whatever it is, I need to click, click, click out of there. And you've made it where that happens for us.
Exactly. Okay, cool. The other thing we talked about was non-sanctioned applications. So you have certain applications that you want your folks to be using, which are sort of kosher for you. You sort of okayed that these are the applications you should access. But you know, does the universal SASE help you also stop people from accessing non-sanctioned application?
Yeah, well, I listened to your session earlier. I mean, you kind of described how you do that. That was when we sent out the RFP, you responded to us in how that you did protect us. We checked that out. We called people. We looked in your reputation. We ran an FBI background check on you to see, was this the real world and was this really happening? Was what you're saying the truth? And we found it to be very, very truthful.
Cool. And what do you think are the benefits? What benefits have you got out of having one vendor providing you a unified SASE solution?
Well, I don't mean to be redundant, but basically I don't have to worry about the holes and the gaps and the miscues that happen between when you have
different vendors.
Right. And you know, you're paying all of them. Each vendor gets a contract, and they're doing what they do. It wasn't that we were unhappy with what we had, because we have been one of the fortunate colleges not to be ransomed at this point. Any wood to knock on, but the idea was that we knew that we were always going to be vulnerable to that, and so we wanted to do the max that we could to prevent it from happening.
Okay. What about other things like any kind of efficiencies you got, because now you don't have to manage multiple vendors versus single
Exactly.
vendor?
Yeah, it's, you know, it seemed to me like, I've been president of Victor Valley for the last 4 years, that every month I was taking IT things to the board to pass, and this security software and this company and that company, and it's like you're nickel and diming the district to death, so to speak. And so just being able to come in with one contract and say this is we're going to sign a multi-year deal, and we don't have to have all these other vendors, so we let them go.
Got it. You know, considering Dr. Walden, where the economy is in terms of you know, macro situations, whether it's recession or inflation or whatever it is, do you feel that the cybersecurity budgets are going to get impacted by the macro, which is happening around us?
Yeah, I do. You know, one of the things we did is when we put out the RFPs and we started getting responses with quotes, I asked our chief business officer, I said, how much are we paying for all these vendors? And I found out, you know what, looked like a big price tag over here, because it was kind of like that when you first opened that RFP. First I said, wow, they all drive Mercedes or something. But then when you add up all of this over here, it wasn't that much of a difference. That was pretty amazing. See, oh, we don't even have to waste our time. Because then I'm talking about the man hours that your IT puts into each one of those vendors, working with them, connecting with them, doing their contract, all that, and you consolidate all that into one. Yeah, it was an increase in expense, but the people talk about, well, I don't have car insurance because I can't afford car insurance. Well, then you can't afford to drive a car. You have to have car insurance. And to me, it's like, if you can't afford to protect your students and your faculty and your staff, then what can you afford? So sometimes it's just a matter of priority. If it's important enough, you'll do it because it's protection. And that's what this is. I hope we never have to worry about anything because I'm letting you do all the worrying now.
Totally right. And let me do the worry, that's okay. I think with that, we conclude this session, but I guess open it up for anybody here who may have questions for Dr. Walden. Where are you in the implementation journey, Dr. Walden?
Well, the last switch, what do you call that last switch? Because I don't know all these acronyms he's thrown out. That's being turned on Monday. So we're almost there. We're connected now. We've already taken down our firewall. But that happens on Monday and we'll be fully implemented.
Yeah, I think Dr. Walden means that the last branch connectivity is because they bought the unified SASE solution. They have SD-WAN as well as SSE. So the last branch connectivity, one of the branches, he's going to connect this Monday. Any other question?
Somebody had one back there.
So because you have a success story for your IT infrastructure, how has that played out with your colleagues at other schools? And is your success going to bleed into their success?
Well, that would be a hope of mine. I like the idea of all ships rising together. So I don't want to be the only one that's left on the sea. I think as we, we share, we go to conferences all year long. I think as we share our stories and presidents talk, we get together, especially with people that, have an attack, this subject comes up, we share that, and my hope would be that others would get on board. And they're looking for solutions too, just like I was.
Cool. Go ahead.
As you look to tighten up the security posture and do things such as preventing users from accessing unauthorized applications, what process did you go through to define authorized applications versus unauthorized? Because the things the technology can do are great, but translating that into policies in a complex organization can be daunting.
So I really left that up to my
Security architect.
my security people, the CIO of the college, the chief information officer, and I let that, because I'm not a cybersecurity expert, and so don't ask me too many questions because I don't really know that much about it. I'm a layperson that needed something, and I found someone that I believed in could provide that for us. But I know that went on and those conversations went on, but I was not involved in the detail of it.
Okay, any other question? One more?
I can't see
All
those
right.
lights.
Cool. Thanks, Dr.
Okay.
Walden, for being
Thank you.
here and being part of us suddenly. Thank you very
My
much.
privilege.